All right, good morning. Good. I know some of you probably, it could be good afternoon or good evening. It's nice to have you all on here and learning a little bit more about St. Andrews, but really our biology with specialization in the Equine Science program. So we're excited that you're joining us today. I'm Brian Stanley, Vice President of Enrollment. It's nice to have you here. We have a lot going on campus today. We have a great group of equestrians out riding. You see my equestrian hat on here today. It's pouring rain, but we're out there watching a group of students from Raleigh, North Carolina ride today with one of our equestrian coaches, Ashley Duda, and we're excited about them being here. But hey, we're glad you guys are on here learning more about our program. As I shared briefly, I head up the admissions and financial aid team here at St. Andrews, so we're happy to answer questions. We do have a chat room set up for you to ask questions and get to know our family here on campus. So a lot of great things happening at the university this year. So without further ado, though, let me introduce to your host today, Lindsay Decorsi, who is one of our admissions counselors. She will spend some time walking through some great things about our program and our history and things. But before or have her take over, we've got a few great things happening this summer or right now on campus. We have a new cafeteria that will open in fall of 2021, so about 6 months away from that. We have a cafe that's in our academic building, in our liberal arts building on campus, and they're going to be relocating down to the first floor, which is lakefront, and we'll be adding Starbucks to that area. It still will be called Piper's Cafe, but we'll have a new addition to that. We are adding some occupational therapy labs as well as a new clinical nursing lab. So a lot's happening right now as we prepare for students to arrive on campus this fall. So Lindsay, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you get started.
Thanks, Brian. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say welcome real quick. One thing, too, that I wanted to mention, and we'll have more information as we get it, but this is kind of breaking news that we will be able to offer some summer camps this summer for students that are interested in veterinary science. So just announcing that, but more to come on dates and information and how to sign up for that coming soon. So keep an eye out for that.
Hey, Lindsay, I'm going to I forgot to ask a question.
Sure.
Where is everybody from in the chat room? I would love to see where you all are from. I'm originally from Indiana. Why am I sharing that? I just spoke to my mother. They're getting ready to get lots of snow today. Where's everybody from? Long Island, nice. Good. Ohio, Connecticut, North Carolina, good. We're glad you guys are on here today. Perfect. Ohio, good. So Lindsay, sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to know where everybody, Julia, I see you on there. Good to see you. But Lindsay, back to you.
Yeah, sounds good. I know a lot of you are getting different weather. We're kind of borderline rain, yucky, cold, almost snow. I would rather it be snow at this point. We've had enough rain to probably refloat the Titanic here over the last couple weeks. So yes, I am an admissions counselor here at St. Andrews. I work with a whole variety of students. I see a lot of familiar names and faces on here, so it's good to see that some of you are able to join us. I know some of my students had to work today, or maybe they were out at the barn, so we are going to go ahead and record this so I can share that with them later. If anybody has questions after this, please feel free to jot down my email, and I also have WhatsApp. That's also my office number, so you can reach me that way. I will be sure to put it down in the chat here in just a few minutes too, so that you can save it. But if you have any questions for me or for Dr. Kellam, Dr. Knesel, any of us afterwards, I'm happy to help you with that. So let's get started. I'm going to introduce to you first Dr. John Knesel, who's the chair of our science department here at St. Andrews, Natural and Life Sciences. He joins us from a couple different places. Dr. Knesel, can I pass it over to you and let you tell our students a little bit about you? I think you're on mute.
Unmuting. That should be all right.
There you are.
Hello, everybody. As Lindsay said, I've come here from a couple of different places and got 3 degrees and a lot of years of experience, and I love St. Andrews. I'm going to tell you about the St. Andrews degree and how it's constructed, and I'll say more about that as we do the rest of the introductions and then get into the program. But welcome. Hopefully we can tell you a good bit about a biology degree and then some of the specializations that are in it. So that's my quick introduction.
Perfect. Dr. Knesel, I have to share for just a second. You heard me mention I'm from Indiana, but Dr. Knesel is originally, or spent time and graduated from Purdue, where a lot of my family came from or studied at. So we're excited what he brings to the plate and a little bit about what the things are that he has done here at the institution. As Lindsay shared, Dr. Knesel heads up the natural and life sciences. So not only biology, but also chemistry and a few other great programs, forensic science, as well as gives the students an opportunity to explore some of the things with physics and math as well. So we're excited about that. So Lindsay?
Yes, sorry, Brian, had a little technical difficulty there. Dr. Knesel, could you tell us a little bit about the curriculums and the academic expectations for the biology programs and maybe, you know, where that may lead some of our students after St. Andrews?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I've sketched out about 5 minutes so I don't get you lost and have you think that, oh my goodness, this is way too much to know about. So I want to tell you about how, for my part, we've got followed by Dr. Kellam and some special guests we have that are going to tell you a good bit of stuff. And I'm going to tell you how a degree is instructed. And why should I do that? Because it's the question that many people have, but they don't ever get the same chance to. They don't get to ask that question, or they find when you get here, when you get to college, that everybody thinks that you know what you're doing. So let me spend a little bit of time with you and just relax and see if you get your head around this. And if you have questions, send them in. But I want to talk to you about how a St. Andrews degree is constructed. There are 2 parts to it. Think of 2 paths you go down, and you go down them at the same time. The first path we call general education. There are a number of courses that are required for that. And then you go down the path at the same time. Believe me, it works. You go down the path at the same time that takes you to a major. So what's that like? I want to tell you what's that like, how it's constructed, and then I want to tell you about some specific courses. In other words, when I get here in the fall, which courses will I be taking within reason? There's a lot of finesse to that, and believe me, we know how to do it, and we'll get you in the right place. So first thing you have to go down the path with is called general education. General education consists of core and some other requirements. Then the other path you go down at the same time is a path toward a major, and it consists of, guess what? A core and some other requirements. So let's think about just think with me, relax a little bit. I hope you're in a nice warm place. The general education core, what's it look like? It consists of courses that are beginning with something called first year experience, which teaches you about college. And then the rest of the core, called general education, consists of courses that are human culture and thought, human thought and culture. Unlike high school, courses only last, they don't last the whole year. They last one semester, and then the next semester you take another course, or part two, if you will, if you see that. So there's human culture and thought 1, human culture and thought 2, a little course called transitions, which helps you with job finding, what happens after college. And then finally, you have a course about global issues. Also included in this core, global issues, or just what it says, global issues. You have a core with also writing. You take 2 semesters of writing courses. Then there is a set of courses, and I know, just relax and get your head around it. There's a set of courses called breadth. So you have to take some mathematics, some natural sciences, some arts and aesthetics, which you would expect to be arts, music, and some other things. Humanities, literature requirement, like Shakespeare, for example. Gender studies, religious studies, philosophy, and then finally social sciences, history, political science, and such. That makes your general education core. As you can imagine, there are all sorts of ins and outs to do that, but again, we know what we're doing with it. Then you go to a major, and so we have core and breadth. The core for the biology major consists of biology 1, biology 2. Biology 1 is more cell and molecular biology. Biology 2 is more diversity of organisms and physiological processes. Then in the core stands ecology, genetics, inorganic chemistry, 2 semesters worth, and organic chemistry, 2 semesters worth. There's also a requirement for mathematics and physics. In the breadth area, we require a plant course of some type, an animal course of some type, and a cell course, cell-based course in those. So you put all of those together, and you end up with a Bachelor of Science degree. You know, don't worry if you sort of blinked and missed some of that. You're going to hear this over and over and over as you come here and work with not only admissions, but those of us on the faculty who will be your advisors. Last little piece is, this is what your first year will be like. I'm going to make an assumption that you're interested in something equestrian, equine science. So you would take a course, the stage 125, where you would learn about college and how to survive and thrive in it. You take the first biology course with a laboratory. You take the first chemistry course with a laboratory. You would take something called Writing 110, which is a composition course. And then for those who are specifically interested in equine science, you would take a course called Stable Management, in which you would learn about not all things, but most all things horse. That's your first semester. It's a pretty heavy semester. Second semester, you would take a second biology course, a second chemistry course, a second writing course. Now you have some freedom. You could take some sort of elective, which could be one of those breadth courses in general education. Take a history course, for example. And then you might plug in a mathematics course that you would have as a requirement. So that's what your first year would look like.
I think that's a great window into kind of seeing what maybe people can expect to take for classes. That's a very common question I get from students.
Well, and the last thing I'm going to tell you is there are many, many sub-questions to that. Like I've already taken some classes, I have some AP credits, I have this and that. And it's our function as advisors to get you in exactly the right place that you need to be. And so that's what we'll do. Well, that's my small focus part. So I'm going to get off of here and sit back and watch whatever else there is to see with Dr. Kellam and her guests. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, Dr. Knesel. We appreciate it. I'm going to talk a little bit about our facilities here on campus real quick. Dr. Knesel, I hope I make you proud. We have a beautiful open science lab, which is, something you don't see a whole lot anymore. It's called the Morgan Jones Science Center and then the John Blue Laboratory. It is a 20,000 square foot open science lab. We're really fortunate to have such a beautiful facility here on campus. I know that, fun fact, Dr. Knesel told me there is 1,920 light bulbs in the John Blue Science Lab. So if you ever get a quiz with that as a bonus question, you're welcome. But our students are really fortunate that we have this really agile facility to work in. We use it for a lot of different things. Right now it's a great space for social distancing as well, because as it is a modular lab, we can move things around. So it's really something that we're grateful to have, and I think our students really enjoy working in. Some different things, Dr. Kellam, when we get to your section, maybe you can kind of talk a little bit about some of the things that your students do with research and things like that. We also have students that work in seminars and get to do presentations, and we have the Tri Beta Science Club here on campus. We also do what are called Friday Science. They do a different topic or a presentation each Friday. Sometimes we have guest speakers come in, so we can get some outside folks here to talk with our students, and a lot of times they do some really cool fun stuff. This was an example of, they had an artificial intelligence speaker come in and talk to some of our students. Also, if you've ever heard of the Science Olympiad, that actually has taken place here on campus. It actually started here at St. Andrews back in 1974, so we're really grateful that that beautiful lab that we have, we still typically get to host the middle school competition here each year. So if you've ever heard of or participated in the Science Olympiad at school, that actually had its roots here at St. Andrews. So before I kind of move on, what is everybody interested in? If you could send down in the chat room, kind of put your goals, what are your interests, what maybe got you interested in the science field? Go ahead and throw that down there in the chat room so we kind of have an idea of who wants to do what, where it came from, where it all started. Let's see. Anybody? Yes. Come on, I know we've got some science people out there. What got you interested in the science field? Well, while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Dr. Laura Kellam. She is our veterinarian in residence here. She's also part of our faculty of the science department, teaches our horse science classes as well as some other things. Genesis, there you go. Particular behavior of animals, very interesting for sure. So Dr. Kellam, I'm going to turn it over to you. Can tell the folks a little bit about you and what you do. I know could probably talk all day about that, but I'll pass the mic over to you and let you chat to our students.
Great. Can everybody hear me pretty well? Okay, perfect. So excited to talk to everybody this morning about, a really great program that all of us have developed here, the Equestrian Science program, the biology program, and also, the program that we have out at the Equestrian Center. We have such a unique opportunity here at St. Andrews, and we've been very successful in bringing all three of those areas together to offer students an incredible opportunity, especially if you're interested in any of the veterinary sciences, not just equine, you know, not just horses, but any of the equestrian sciences. We have such a diverse staff, and we all pull together to do what we can do to make it your unique opportunity for learning. And just like Dr. Knesel was saying, you know, we do have a core program in the sciences, and that core program generally lasts for approximately 2 years. But in your second year, you really can start diversifying and taking classes that, you know, are specific to what you want your goals to be at St. Andrews. And, you know, I've taught at quite a few different universities, and I think out of all of them, St. Andrews gives you that sense of guiding your educational experience to absolutely fulfill your needs. So what we've done in the equine studies program and with the biology internship and preceptorship, as most of you know, if you're interested in pursuing a veterinary degree in graduate school, one of the most rigorous requirements are your academics. Okay, so you have to maintain a very good GPA to get into that graduate school. The other thing is you actually have to have an incredible amount of hours that you have spent with veterinarians, because they really want you to know the field. As I tell the students here, veterinary medicine it's not a career, it's a way of life. It's a way of life. So whether it's in my classes or whether it's in Dr. Knesel's labs or one of the organic chemistry labs, we work very hard together to bring that experience to you and to make it fulfilling for what your goals are going to be. The other thing that makes it quite special is Dr. Knesel and I have come up with a internship preceptorship program. So that generally is going to start in the second semester of your sophomore year and goes through your junior year and your senior year. And what that consists of, it consists of both academic upper level biology classes, in addition to on-call internship hours out at the Equestrian Center and on surrounding farms in the area. So if you're looking at getting those 500 hours that you have to put down on your application to apply to whichever veterinary school you're going to apply to, sometimes that can be some of the limiting factors of actually getting into veterinary school. But by completing this preceptorship program with both the academics and the internship time, you very easily can obtain those 500 or more hours. Plus, I cannot tell you how the experience of you being able to actually work on animals is going to help you in vet school. Today, I've got a couple of my previous students and Dr. Knesel's students that graduated a couple years ago. I think Sam and Bettina are both online. Yep, there's a picture. You just had a picture of them, Lindsay. Sam and Bettina are both online, and they are completing their last semester up at NC State, and they will have their doctorate in veterinary medicine come May. And Dr. Knesel and I are so very proud of them. So I was going to give either one of them a little bit of time, and they can let you know what the benefits they feel were, what they got from St. Andrews, and how it really helped them excel at NC State. At NC State for their veterinary degree. I don't know, is any, are either one of them on right now, Lindsay?
Hey, Dr. K.
Oh, hey, Sam.
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question. And I think you guys are going to ask, and I'm still not prepared. So here we go.
Okay.
But I'm Sam. So Bettina and I graduated from St. Andrews in 2017. which feels like forever ago and not at the same time. But we're both in our last year of vet school at NC State now. And St. Andrews was a major part of getting to where we got, if not almost the whole thing. But the great thing about St. Andrews is that there's all these opportunities there that you can use. And they're not just handed to you, but they're there and they're available. And there's so many people that want to help you get there and do it in a unique way. You know, part of getting to vet school is you want to stand out, you want to do all these things, and you get to make the most of the options that are there. You have to work for it, but you have the opportunity. Sorry, my dog has a squeaky toy. My same dog that was a part of the pre-vet program and went on visits to Scotia Village, fun fact.
Okay, yep.
It's Dixie.
Dixie.
But, you know, they give you so many opportunities to take leadership roles, to make your own way. You know, I was part of the internship. I was on the equestrian team for a while. I rode on the Western team. I was in Tri Beta, you know, part of Friday Science, helped with getting the pre-vet club up and running and, you know, putting so many opportunities in that. And while those experiences were great and look great on your application, they also prepared me to do things on my own and look for opportunities to make the most of, which turns out to be really valuable when you go to vet school and are going through all of it.
Thanks, Sam. And Sam also, she took advantage of one of the summer programs that I started several years ago, and that is wildlife studies in South Africa. So, I mean, talk about hands-on, right, Sam?
Yeah, that was one of the most amazing 2 weeks of my life, going to South Africa and doing all of that. Sometimes doesn't even seem real. I never thought, you know, coming from my small town, wanting to do what I was going to do, that I would go do something like that, work with rhinos, giraffes, antelope, you know, see all these amazing things and, you know, get to work with Dr. Dupe over there and just experience all of that. And it definitely just gave me a different worldview. You got to see different cultures as well as learning the science. And that's something that you can't match with anything else.
Right. And I think that's the big thing. It's hands-on with animals, but it's also experiencing the diversity and you know, how other parts of the world live and work. And I mean, the people over there were just so incredibly giving, and just really appreciate, you know, just everything they have. So as I say, it's a wonderful experience for students wanting to learn and students having that unique set out opportunity on their application. And I know that, you know, most of the students that went to Africa, you know, they all talk about it, and that's always brought up on their applications because it's such a unique opportunity that we do provide. Is Bettina on?
I'm here.
Hey, Bettina, talk a little bit about, so, you know, I know a lot of you out there, you know, veterinary medicine as, you know, a clinic and working on horses or working on dogs and cats and that sort of thing. But there are many other opportunities. Dr. Knesel and I talk about it a lot. There's research, you know, opportunities and things like that. Well, Bettina has taken advantage. Bettina, talk about the USDA and what you have accomplished and where you're going with that with your veterinary degree.
Okay. Yeah, so I knew I wanted to be a vet, but I don't know. I like worked in some small animal clinics and things like that. And it just wasn't, I don't know, it didn't quite click, I guess, the way that a lot of people did. It did for a lot of other people. I mean, I enjoyed it. It just wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so I kind of started trying to think of some other options. And that's also like the really great thing about vet med is that there's so many other options that you don't even think about. Like I didn't think about, especially in undergrad. And then when you get to vet school, like you really see like it's just, there's so many different avenues that you can take. And we even, I think they still do it, but like our first year of vet school, they had like a class every Friday, and they'd have different vets from different fields and different avenues come in and talk to you. So it really widens. So it's not just cats and dogs. It's not just horses. It's not even just food animal. There's just so many things you can do, depending on your interest and what you like. If you're, client interaction is not really your thing, or you don't like, the everyday thing, there's just so many things you can do. And then I know at St. Andrews, I kind of realized, okay, I don't really want to do small animal practice, or not even necessarily private practice at all. And I remember Dr. K actually mentioned it to me and told me like, oh, well, maybe you should think about like government, like a government job, or, go in that direction. And I didn't even think about that option. So like after she mentioned it to me, I started like, looking into it. And then that first year of vet school, they also had someone from USDA come in and talk to us. And, there's several different programs for the USDA. So they came in and talked to us and gave us their email and these pamphlets and things. And so what the program I'm in, it's called the Malik Scholarship Program. And so you can apply for it like your first or second year of vet school. And it's like a really neat program and helpful, because if you get in, it's like a pretty long application process. Like you have to get through the first level, and then, they pick their people that they want to go further. And then you have to write essays and get more recommendation letters. And then you do a phone interview, and then they pick who they are going to go all the way through. So, but if you get in, you complete 640 hours of like an internship at some of the different plants. This is for food safety and inspection. So it's not what a lot of people think of when they think about vet med, because you are working in like processing plants. But it's still like a really important job, especially if you're concerned about like public health and more broader like safety and animal welfare, making sure that they are treated appropriately and with respect, and that everything is being done the way it should be. And like through that internship, you're paid way better than they'll pay you at like the vet school for anything, by the way. And you can already set up like your retirement, account and everything, and start contributing. So it's like really cool, and you get to go into the plants and you work under the vets there, and you get to get a really hands-on approach, and you get to learn all the other not so interesting things about the government, like all the regulations that you have to learn and directives, which is just part of it. But it really, I think, fits for me. I don't mind all of like the hoops and stuff you have to jump through as much as some people would. And then also it just offers a different lifestyle, I guess, too, because there's a lot more balance in it. There's not on call and emergencies and that kind of thing. So which can be a big plus if that's important to you. And then obviously the benefits of working for the government are pretty great, like the health insurance and the pay, vacation time. You get 2 weeks vacation right off the bat, like first year working, which is, hard to find other places sometimes. And it's just like a really nice alternative. It's kind of hard to talk about like quickly, but like I can put my email too, and if anyone has any questions about it, like I'd be happy to talk to you more about it. Because it's like you don't really learn about government work that much in vet school. It's kind of something they mention and they tell you, oh, this is the thing you can do, but it's not explored as much. So if it's something that you want or like think that you might want, you kind of need to like look into it yourself and talk to people in the field and like learn and see if it could be a good fit for you.
Yeah, thanks, Bettina. I know in my class, I graduated from Virginia Tech, from vet school at Virginia Tech. And one of my best friends, same thing. She thought she wanted to do small animal, and she was all about small animal. And by the time she got into her second year, she was like, oh, I don't think I want to do small animal. And right now, and she went into government corporate studies. And, you know, right now she is one of the head veterinarians down at the CDC in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So there are so many opportunities, and that's the thing. Coming back to St. Andrews, I don't know if Dr. Knesel, if you can unmute just for a second, talk about the research potential that we have here, because you know, as a vet, you can work for pharmaceutical companies, you can work all different types of research, and we have a fantastic researcher here, Dr. Bonnie Draper and Dr. Knesel, and they can work with you in your senior year on, you know, research projects with honors in biology, and take you in that different direction as well. Dr. Knesel, do you want to just talk about that for a second?
Sure, Dr. Kellam, I'll be glad to. I was realizing as you were talking that is part of the core too. If you come in as a freshman student in the first biology class, you do a semester-long research project with a team of students. And it's very prescribed. You don't have to do it on your own, but the next year you have a little more freedom. The next year and the next year, you have a lot of freedom to design a research project and do it. There's possibility of even earning honors in the major to do that. You have an opportunity to do presentations of your work, to interact with other researchers. We have in the spring a science homecoming where alums come back and you can display the research that you're working on. And all of these folks that have graduated from here and gone on to veterinary school, medical school, almost an unlimited supply of different careers, they come and look and you present. So that although we're not a research university like a land grant school or anything, you still get a solid foundation. And some of these students can tell you that there was enough to do so that you could get at least a taste of it. So we're really pleased because we've had other students go. We have one now that's at Boston University working on a PhD in cell biology. So I think we do well. So thanks, Dr. Kellam, for bringing that up, because I left that out of the core, but research is kind of the core here too.
Perfect. Thanks, Dr. Knesel. I also, for those of you that are interested, I have a current student, Sarah. Sarah Krantz, are you still on, Sarah? So Sarah is a second semester senior. So she has applied to her veterinary schools, and she just finished her interview at Florida. So she's waiting. She's on pins and needles waiting to hear. So fingers crossed. And she really thinks her interview went very well. But let Sarah tell you about everything that she's done here at St. Andrews. Not only is she one of the top students we have in the field of science, in the internship. She's also a crackerbox soccer player, has been here 4 years on a soccer scholarship. So Sarah, if you're there.
Yeah, hey everyone, thanks Dr. K. So my name is Sarah. I'm from St. Augustine, Florida. So I ended up in North Carolina thanks to actually the internship program. It was something that they had mentioned on the tour, was that you could go to South Africa. And I was like, I want that. So I actually came to St. Andrews for the athletics so I could get the soccer scholarship, and because I knew of the awesome opportunities I could have going into veterinary medicine. So I started off, did the whole freshman year thing, took all my normal classes that I was supposed to on track for bio. And sophomore year, I took course science and got the preceptorship with Dr. K. And honestly, the preceptorship has really changed my application. It really made me, I think, stand out. I got to talk about it a lot in my interview with Florida about a lot of the stuff we've done. We've done skin grafting. We get to go and deworm all the horses. We get to go on call schedule. We get to do, just a lot of stuff. We've seen goats and played with baby cows. It's just been a ton of fun and a lot of good, awesome learning experiences. And we got to take the independent study for Africa last spring because we were supposed to go this summer, but COVID hit, unfortunately. So that was a really big bummer that we didn't get to go to Africa. But, you know, it actually led me, I had a really awesome summer internship at a small veterinary clinic near my house. So I got to spend a lot of time there instead. So you got to make the best out of everything. But I've played soccer all 4 years here. I just recently applied in September to veterinary school. So I'm waiting to hear back from Florida, hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I think my interview went really well, but I think St. Andrews has given me a lot of opportunities to just like explore who I am and find different paths in vet med. Right now, I think I want to do like large mixed animal. We took a herd health class my sophomore year with Dr. K as part of the Preceptorship. And I honestly love cows so much. Taking that class made me like, oh my God, cows are the coolest animals alive. And obviously I love working with horses with the Preceptorship. So I'm hoping that, you know, I'll find out soon. And in August, I'll be going down to Florida again to attend vet school. But if you guys have any questions for me, I'll put my email down below. And if you guys want to put any questions in the chat, I'll answer them through the rest of the session.
Hey, Sarah, talk a little bit about your different majors too, just to let everybody know that there's so many different paths here at St. Andrews. It's, you know, you don't have to do all straight science, right?
No. So I had big dreams going in. I was going to double major in biology and business, minor in chemistry, and I wanted to finish early and go into the MBA program. And that didn't work out. Just with soccer, I had to take more time out of my studies to play and go to practice. So I'm actually going to graduate in May with a biology degree with a concentration in equine science and minors in chemistry and business. I've taken a lot of different classes. I've taken accounting classes. I've taken like nutrition classes. I'm in a management class right now. There's a lot of different options you can take. I think there was a history class that Dr. Knesel had actually mentioned. It was on medieval literature. That sounded really fun, but unfortunately I couldn't fit it into my schedule. But at St. Andrews, I think there are a lot of different options, and all the professors are really supportive of, if you like have an idea of what you want to take, like they're always there to say like, maybe you should consider this option or this option, or like what would fit best for you. So I think that there's been there's a lot of breadth in what you can take.
Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. I know you're really busy, but thanks.
No.
And the other thing I want to mention, and I know Dr. Knesel talks about this a lot as well, but I think one of the definite advantages of St. Andrews in regards to our classes is our class size. So we do have smaller class sizes. That means absolutely individual attention. And I can tell you for myself, going to a bigger land grant university, you know, that can be a problem sometimes standing out. You know, when you're, 200 or 300 people in a classroom. Here we get to know each of our students individually, and you better believe it, when I'm taking students over to Africa, I know them quite well. I know them quite well. So Sarah, I know we didn't go this May, but you're on the list for the future Africa trip when it happens.
Thanks, Dr. K. I hope so.
Any questions? Does anybody want to come on and ask a question for Dr. Knesel or myself?
Dr. K, I have a question.
Okay.
We had Talia asked a great question down in the chat. She said, for students who maybe aren't interested in going on to veterinary school afterwards, what kind of career paths are there for students that just want to do the 4-year program?
Quite a few. I'll say a little bit about that, and then I'll let Dr. Knesel talk about it as well. So I have definitely had students come here and think they want to do the veterinary studies, and kind of they get into it and they're just like, well, maybe not, maybe I want to do something else. So I've had some of my students go on to the to pharmacology, graduating from pharmacology school. Going into chiropractics, right? So chiropractic school. Actually, I had 2 different students go into the field of nutrition. And I am telling you, that field is wide open for opportunities for students that have biology degrees and have done some of the research that Dr. Knesel was talking about earlier. And those are very good paying jobs. You still get to work in the animal field, but you don't have any on call and you have set hours. So there are just like Bettina said, there are so many opportunities in the field of veterinary medicine that, or biology studies that people don't even, they don't even realize. Yeah, but those are just a few of the students that I've worked with that have gone on to other things. Dr. Knesel, do you have anything to add to that?
Sure, just a little bit. I'll give you a list of other fields that people have ended up in. Going to PA school, going to medical school, going to pharmacy school, going to graduate school in exercise physiology. And one route that several students have taken for us is they've gone toward a PhD. And for example, when Bettina goes to work, she's going to be working side by side with a number of PhD people and may end up working with another grad of St. Andrews. So there are lots and lots of options for you. The thing to remember is about the core. You come out with unique skills that you've practiced, and that'll stand you in good stead almost anywhere you go.
Thank you for answering. I know that's also a common question that I get asked, not only by students, but by parents as well. And then I know, Dr. K, could you talk a little bit about just the Equestrian Center? I know that, that's another facility kind of like our lab. We have lots of teachers out there as well.
Absolutely. I absolutely consider the Equestrian Center a lab. And, we have 115 teachers out there because we have, that many horses. And as I can tell you, and some of the students that you've talked to can tell you, they teach you each and every day that we work with them. As long as I've been here, I still learn something each and every day. But the Equestrian Center is, as you can see from your screen, is a phenomenal facility. We are so blessed. We are so blessed and so lucky to be able to have the opportunity to combine both academics and use this beautiful facility. So approximately about 500 acres. They first started this in 2000, Peggy McElveen. It was a dream, and boy, she made it come true. And I'm telling you, it takes your breath away when you drive down Hasty Road and you're out in the middle of Scotland County, which is a lot of tobacco fields and, very rural type of environment. And then you start seeing that white fence. You think you're transported to Kentucky. You're like, oh my goodness, how did this get here? But anyway, it is, it's something that here at St. Andrews, we're all just very proud of. And as a professor, that teaches equine science and biology, I cannot even tell you what a difference it makes to be able to study something in the classroom and then take students out to that facility as a lab and actually have hands-on experience with those students. Now, we also have coaches and barn managing staff that actually also work and teach some of the stable management classes and some of the other equine business classes. So one thing you'll see about St. Andrews, we all wear a lot of different hats. And, that's what keeps our day interesting. And it keeps us on our toes and it keeps us engaged with the students, one-on-one.
That's awesome. Thank you. I know I had some questions. If anybody else has a question, you're certainly welcome to ask Dr. Kellam and Dr. Knesel. I will also keep the chat open a little bit longer when we're done. If you want to ask questions in there, you're more than welcome. Or if anybody wants to turn their mute off for a moment, you're welcome to as well. I'm going to keep going a little bit. Thank you so much, Dr. Kellam and Dr. Knesel, for talking to the students and taking some time out of your Saturday to meet with us. I know you're both busy folks, so I know the students appreciate it. Alexandria had asked if we have a lot of hands-on classes. So yes, we definitely do. As Dr. Kellam said, you know, the Equestrian Center is a lab in itself. And I know I see you guys out there a lot working on our patients out there as well. So I'm going to keep boogieing on a little bit about the not so exciting stuff, but probably just as important to help you get started. Like I said, the chat room there is open, so feel free if you have questions, pop them in there. We're in there to help. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about, you know, now what? So if you're interested in St. Andrews, I know some of you have already applied. Some of you have not yet started that process. So I just kind of wanted to talk to you about where do you start? You know, our application is free. It's on our website. I'll actually put up a code here at the end on the screen so you can actually scan it with your phone. It will take you directly to the application. It's a very simple application. It probably takes you about 10 to 15 minutes. If you've never done a college application before, it's probably the easiest one you'll ever do. You can actually start the application process when you have completed your junior year by sending us your final junior transcript. So that's the earliest that you can apply. And then, you know, at that point, what you'll do is you'll stay in close contact with your admissions counselor, which might not be me, but we have a great team here in the office who work with all of our students. Like Sarah said, you know, you might be an athlete, so you might be with an admissions counselor that works with a specific sport. But all of us can talk to you about our academic programs. We're happy to share information to get you in contact with our faculty and our advisors as well. And then the next step would be to talk about financial aid, which I'll do in a minute here a little more in detail as far as your FAFSA, how to get that started. Alexandria, great question. We don't require test scores at this time. When COVID kind of started to happen, a lot of our students were not able to take their ACT or SAT. So at this point, what we require to get you started is your application to be completed and submitted to us. And then we do require your final junior transcript or forward. So you can send a mid-year senior transcript, but we do need a junior transcript at the earliest. So those are the only two things that we'll require of you to start that process. And then, like I said, you'll keep in close contact with your admissions counselor through that process. And then, you know, we'll talk to financial aid. And at that point, we'll get your admissions deposit going. But that's kind of down the road. So let's talk a little bit more about, you know, how you can follow us. We do have a lot of social media outlets that you can follow us on. Some of them are equestrian. We have one for St. Andrews University in general, which we try to keep updated with what's going on campus, any updates. And then there are some equestrian pages. If you are an equestrian, you're welcome to join those as well. Twitter and Instagram. We're also on there too. But come visit us. You know, that's the most important thing. I think, you know, coming to meet us, coming to see campus, come see the Equestrian Center. We're happy to take you on a tour of campus. We do tours all throughout the week and Saturday mornings. You can also go on our website. There's a link here, but I'll send you a link here at the end with that code so you can see it. We are open for visits. We have COVID protocol in place. Manly, our mini, he is just demonstrating here for you the proper way to wear your mask that will be required. We have you on campus when you come to see us. So please make sure you bring a mask. We'll have get one of these fancy bracelets for you that all of our students get every day of the week. Helps me remember what day it is. And we'll get you checked in and show you around all of our facilities here. So financial aid, I know that's not the most fun thing to talk about, but it's important. There are options, okay? Let's talk a little bit about who has down in the chat room. Has anybody done their FAFSA yet? Anybody? Does anybody know our FAFSA code? Don't look. So your FAFSA code's really important. Oh, good. Lots of yeses. Nice job, girls. The FAFSA code is 001540. Why is that important? Without that code, we can't see any of your information, so we cannot help you, help award you your federal financial aid if you're eligible. So those are going to be things like parent loans, student loans, but also grants. Grants are things that you will not have to pay back. Okay, that is free money, guys. But without that code, we can't do that for you. So when you put it in, it is going to tell you that we are Weber International University, which we are a branch of. So we do share that code with Weber. So don't be shocked when you put it in. I get a lot of phone calls. They're like, it's not working. It's saying you're Weber. We share the same code. So if you have any questions, Alexandria, I'd be happy to help you. Our financial aid office is actually open until 1 o'clock today. I'll put their phone number up here in just a few minutes, and they'd be happy to talk with anybody that has questions. All right, so FAFSA is something that our students, they do every year. Okay, trust me, the first time is the worst. Once it's done, it's not so bad after that. So tuition and fees, these are our 2021-22 current fees kind of broken down for you. So this is the big number, the 4180. So things that's also going to include that's not really listed on here. Yes, you know, your tuition, your room and board fees. It's also going to include all your meals on campus, having a vehicle on campus. Of course, we have Wi-Fi here on campus as well. We actually just got a brand new system here on campus for that. So it's really been awesome lately, and it's super fast. That it does include our dorms. So we do have Wi-Fi and cable in our dorms. We also have little things like free laundry that are included, which sounds like a little thing to some of you, but for me, when I was in college, I always had to have a jar of quarters on me, which was a pain. So no quarters required. The only things that are going to be not included in that cost are going to be things like if you want to take riding lessons at the Equestrian Center or be on an equestrian team, you may have fees for that. If you take a science lab or an art class, you may have a lab fee or an art fee or a supply fee. Those are usually pretty small. But other than that, these are going to be your costs. My job, I don't want any of you to pay $41,080. I'll be honest. Okay. So there are options. So where do you go after that? We do have scholarships here at St. Andrews that we offer. Some of them are just based on your GPA. You don't have to fill out an application for them. You just have to get through that application process and be admitted. You do get academic awards. What we do is we give you one award that is an all-inclusive number that's going to include all of your extracurricular activities, things like academics. If you apply for one of our pre-veterinary scholarships, we have art scholarships, music scholarships, equestrian scholarships. So we'll take all those things into account and we award you what's called your SAU all-inclusive award, which is one number. The reason we do that, it makes it a whole lot easier to understand when you're applying that to your cost of attendance. So it's very simple. Our financial aid office will then take that award and they will give it to you in what we call a financial aid package. So that's combined with your award and your FAFSA. They put that together and that helps tell us what your balance will be. So my job as your admissions counselor isn't just to get you admitted, it's to help you figure out how you're going to afford college, what are some options you can do with that, and to help you with that whole process. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me as well. The other thing I always encourage students to do is outside scholarships. If any of you have ever used what's called FastWeb, is a great website to use where it takes creates a profile for you, and then it puts that profile out there and it's going to help match you with scholarships. That's really important because I can tell you, you can sit there and you can Google for scholarships until you are blue in the face, okay? But you know, finding those outside scholarships, FastWeb is really helpful to help you do that. I also encourage you guys to go to our website on the financial aid tab. It does list a whole bunch of resources, not only to help you with outside scholarships, but it also lists all of our scholarships offered here through St. Andrews. So there is a pre-veterinary scholarship. Dr. Kellam, could you maybe talk about that real quick of what that entails?
Sure, be happy to. So, excuse me. So we do have a pre-vet scholarship, and if you go on the website, you can actually find the requirements for it. So we're modifying it just a little bit because of COVID right now, because one of the requirements is that you have spent time volunteering at either a local animal shelter or for a veterinarian. And of course, now with everything kind of tied down, a lot of those places are not taking outside people due to COVID restrictions. But anyway, hopefully that's all going to lift pretty soon through the summer. But we do require a certain GPA the classes that you're taking, science-oriented classes, APs if you have those as well, and then reference letters. So you need some reference letters either from a veterinarian that you've worked with or from maybe a high school teacher that has known you quite well, preferably in the sciences, that you can have them submit one of the reference letters as well. So 2 reference letters, and then just your overall activities of, you know, what got you into, you know, the interest of biology and veterinary science. Do you ride? You know, are you interested in dogs and cats? Do you breed? Do you show? So a little bit about yourself, and then also an essay of why you want to go into veterinary medicine and what the field, what you want to accomplish in the field of veterinary medicine. And as you can see from the different students that have talked today, you know, that can lead you down a lot of different paths.
Thank you. That's awesome. I'm going to look for real quick the link. Put this over here. The link for our Pre-Veterinary Scholarship, and I will put it down in the chat before we leave today so that everybody has it so you can learn more about that. If you have questions, you can definitely email me. I'm happy to help guide you there and help you find that. So that is awesome. Thanks, Dr. K. On the screen right now, you can see the contact information for the financial aid office. So if you're a student who has already applied, I know I have some students on here who have applied for that scholarship. And if you have questions, you can call them. You can also call me. And I'm happy to talk to you about it. So that will be awesome. Oh, Brian's got the, okay, perfect. Thanks, Brian. Brian put the link to the Pre-Veterinary Scholarship in the chat box over there. So it is up and available for you. Don't forget to save that and check it out. So this is that QR code page that I was telling you about. This is important because if you actually hold your phone up over these QR codes there on the screen, it will actually take you to all those links. So whether it's how to apply, how to check out our scholarships. Now this will take you to the main scholarship page on St. Andrew's financial aid page. It will list all of the ones that are offered here at the school. And then of course, how to apply and how to visit. So all important things. We would love to have you guys come and see us. If you haven't been here to campus, come talk to us, come meet Dr. Kellam, Dr. Knesel. Come see the Equestrian Center and see our beautiful lab and see if St. Andrews is the right fit for you. So like we said earlier, you know, I would love to have some questions. If anybody has questions, feel free to turn your mic off. We will stay in here for a few more minutes and definitely harbor some questions. So thank you guys for joining us today. For Sam and Bettina, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy lives. Good luck with everything. And Sarah, we'll be pulling for you for UF. So I want to see some blue and orange on you soon. And good luck. We know they're not going to know what's coming. So that's great. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to turn my camera off, but I'm here. I'll leave my mic on if anybody has questions, and I hope we see you soon on campus. Thanks, guys.